Hey guys, how you doing? I haven't been on here for a while. Still trying to get accustomed and used to this doing these YouTube videos. But anyways, it's a video that I want to go over. It's by this guy named Pt.1. White Girls Who Date Black Guys Speaks Out. I started to want to speak about this because I was watching this Holly Randall podcast with King Noir, and he ended up bringing up certain topics about interracial and then the porn and all that stuff, and it piqued my interest because I believe a lot of people, they kind of scratch the surface, but they don't really get exactly why certain things are the way they are. So in this video with this guy Dre Baldwin, I'm pretty sure you guys saw this video before. It's like the one that went like very viral with the girl in the car talking about how white girls who date the black guys, it's not pretty much like a badge of honor, and there's a lot of truth behind that. But in this video, before it goes to that, they're talking about the 9 myths. And the first myth he was talking about was that you tend to see a lot of black guys with overweight white girls. There's truth behind that, and then there's no truth behind it. There's truth behind it because what I see when I see people date, I always see that there's like compatibility in looks. So if you're an unattractive black guy, you're gonna tend to see them with an unattractive white girl. Whereas if you see an attractive white guy who's in shape like a Donnell Savage, he'll be with someone like an Ashley Graham or an Ishka Lawrence. So whenever they point out about that unattractive black guy with the unattractive white girl, there is truth behind that, but it's not to the point that it's like an attractive black guy like Donnell Savage or Michael B. Jordan who's dating, an overweight Melissa McCarthy or that Honey Boo Boo chick. So the only reason that's given so much credence is because that's the main image that's always promoted and stuff like that. There is truth behind it, but it's really not the entire collective. So they're gonna go to now the second question, or the second myth.
Anna. All right, now let's get into the meat of this whole thing. Number two is white girls who date black guys have daddy issues.
No.
Okay.
I think a lot of people have daddy issues, boys and girls.
All right, let me tell you my context first, and then you're gonna give me
Yeah.
your context. We got some time to think, marinate on this since I read it already, so it would be fair to me. Yeah, rapid fire.
Okay.
I got stories that I can never tell on YouTube about white girls who very clearly did have daddy issues. Not that they came out and told me directly, but I mean, if you read about people who have daddy issues and the type of ways they react to things, the type of things they say, the type of things that they accept and tolerate, I know what it looks like, I know what it sounds like, and
So not to cut it off to let him finish, but the daddy issue angle, I believe, is the wrong way to put it, because overall there are women that have daddy issues and they're just all crazy. I think where people were trying to get at was the fact that most people, it's not just black guys, and it's not just white girls and black guys, but most people who interracially date, what I've come to notice is that if you ever notice, whenever they're talking about, like, let's say if it's like a black guy who only dates white girls, or a white girl that only dates black guys, or vice versa, or even if it's a white man that dates black girls, for some reason they always feel the need to disrespect the opposite gender of their said race. And what I've come to the conclusion of is that a lot of times something traumatic happened in their life. So what they do is that they link that traumatic situation with the opposite gender of their said race. Like, there was a girl that I used to talk to, her name was Violet, and she talked about how she doesn't like to date white guys at all. Now I told her, I was kind of confused. I was like, why? She said, because the white guy raped her. And I was like, you can't really demonize your entire race of men because of one guy. I mean, I understand that getting raped is very bad, but to demonize your entire race of men because of one dude absolutely makes no sense. But I just kept talking to her because I wanted to collect more data on this on the topic. And what I've come to realize is that most people who interracially date, not all of them, but there's a good portion, is the fact that they do it to say fuck you to their race. You know what I'm saying? It's very rare that you're going to find two people in an interracial union that genuinely like each other without disrespecting one's race. So in this situation, when they were talking about the daddy issue, I think that was like the wrong way to put it, because putting it in the daddy issue is like that's something that mostly a lot of girls of any group goes through, and even though they have daddy issues, they still date within their race. I think the best way was to go about it is the fact that, why do you tend to see that most, let's say if you want to put it just on white girls, why do you tend to see that white girls seem to talk trash about white men when dating black men, or vice versa, when black men are dating white girls, they seem to want to trash black women? It's very rare that you're going to see them say that, I like dating this person because I actually get along with them. They just so happen to be of another race, but we genuinely get along with each other. And sometimes you'll see that, but even when they say that, they'll go and follow up with it. Well, the white guys are losers and they're overweight. Like this girl, the one that he's dating, there was a video that they did. I forgot what it was called. And in the video, she's talking about how, she likes her boyfriend because they get along, but then she also states that, I don't want to deal with the white guy because they're overweight or trailer trash and they just watch football. Again, disrespecting your race. Like, why do you feel the need to say that? Because the trauma that they face, whether it was the father abandoning them, whether it was, the girls not liking them, the rape, or any sort of trauma that they dealt with, instead of them acknowledging that, they link the trauma with the individual of their said race. And then that's what whenever you deal with people that say that I only date white girls, I only date black guys, I only date Latinas, this is one of the reasons why you have to kind of stay away from those type of people, because there's something traumatic that's linked with them. And the reason why it's mostly black guys and the white girl union that gets the butt of blame for it is because the other groups, they say the same thing, but they're more closed with it. Black guys and black and white girls who date each other, they go out of their way to make like videos. Like you can type any video on YouTube, just type in black guys dating white girls, and you'll see black guys talk about, oh yeah, we date white girls because they suck dick good, they don't get their hair wet, and they got good credit. And then vice versa, the white girls like, oh yeah, we fuck black guys because they got great dicks and they dress good and they smell good. So you both are pretty much kind of dehumanizing one another to just vanity. And this is why they get butt of the blame. Now, granted, if you watch that Harley Randall video with King Noir, he said that when he went to go get because he went to his father's room to go look at porn. His dad is Italian, his mother is black. And he said when he went inside the room, he saw that his dad had Ku Klux Klan porn. So this is something that happens in all interracial unions. The difference is the fact that the other groups, they kind of keep it quiet. And it doesn't help the black guy and the white girl with the fact that they have the highest divorce rate amongst interracial couples. So that further just doesn't really help their union.
Known many white girls who did have some daddy issues who were into black guys, but at the same time, there are also white girls who got daddy issues who ain't into black guys. So this is not, I don't really like this. This whole article is a bunch of generalizations, but that's why we're talking about it. So we ain't got to keep saying the generalizations because we already know that they are.
Yeah.
But I have seen that. And there are a couple instances I'm thinking of immediately, but I can't talk about them because we just can't talk about them.
All right, get to the third question.
What you got to say about it?
I don't think it's true. A lot of people have daddy issues, like I said, boys and girls. And matter of fact, like more people than we all think do have daddy issues. We all have issues from our parents. And so I don't think it even applies in the context of what we're talking about. Like, what does that have to do with dating black guys?
So
daddy issue. You can have a daddy issue, and
she's right about that. But like I said before, they were using the wrong way to go about it. Interesting enough, she grew up in Georgia, and she said that the father was not in the picture, and the white men that were in her area, I believe she said that in the video that they were kind of like criminals, or they pretty much were not good. So her as a child, her first interaction with the men of the opposite gender of her said race was not good. And this what ends up turning a lot of people into the interracial dating, specifically dating outside. That's what tends to happen. And she even said in the video that when she went to preschool, she talked about how and I'll put it in the link. She talked about how when she went to school, she saw a guy with olive skin, and that was pretty much started her liking men of color. But the point is that you cannot overlook the fact that your first experience with your people, particularly even your father, was a very negative and dangerous experience. Now, again, this is not the collective for white girls, but this does play a role into why you find people who say they strictly date outside their race. This is not just only for the white girls. Like when you hear people say they strictly only date outside their race, there's something traumatic that was linked with it.
They say it's to lash out at the dad, to show the dad that you're in control of your life and you're going to go date a guy that the dad probably would not do.
Oh, I see. So they're rebellious. So it's like
rebelling against dad,
rebelling against dad. Okay, when you said daddy issues, that means.
And sometimes they do rebel.
But that's the context that I'm going to give it. They didn't say that, but I'm going to give it that context.
Let's see. Let's go to the next
that
one.
sounds like really twisted thing to me. I mean, I don't know.
I happen to believe for some women that's true. See, this article is about this does not apply to all white girls who date black guys, but there are some who do mess with black guys almost exclusively who that is one of their things. I don't know if that's the reason why, because I don't ask. But
I kind of should have sped this up a little bit.
Fit that description, but it does not apply to all of them. Does that apply to you?
No, it does not.
So you're not dating me to get back at your dad?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Alright, go to number 3, nigga.
They say that white girls who date black guys are trying to prove that they're not racist. Are you racist?
Oh my god. They're trying to prove that they're not racist.
Are you racist? You notice she didn't answer the question. Now that's one of the, that's like a sign of evasion or deceit.
Oh my god.
You ask
I wouldn't say that's part of it. I mean, there might be a good portion of girls who do that to prove that they're not, but I wouldn't say that they date them to prove that they're not racist. You know, what I will say though, if you ever notice, you ever see those videos where those guys approach the white girls, like a group of white girls, and then the black guy goes and says, "Do you guys date black guys?" Now, if you pay attention to a lot of those white girls' reactions, their face, just look at their face. They really want to say no. They really want to say, no, I only date white guys. And that's not a problem because most black women are only going to date black men. You know, most Latinas are going to date Latinos. Most Asians are going to date Asian. So there's nothing wrong with it. But because they understand that if I say that I don't date black guys, I'm going to be seen as racist when I just want to deal with my own. So you tend to hear those Caucasian girls like, oh yeah, I do like black guys. So if we're going from that context of when they get approached and then they say that they do just because they don't want to be seen as racist, 100% correct. But to date them, I'm not really going to go with that. But when they do get approached, like literally just go find videos. They're all over YouTube and TikTok where you see these black guys and you know who they are. They approach the white girls, or do you date black guys? And you can see them kind of stop a little bit and then they'll be like, yeah, you know, I like black guys. They really want to say, I date my own race of men. But they understand that these guys are going to either take it as racist or they're going to get upset. So for them to not be seen as racist, they will say that I would date black men, or I do like black men, or I do date black men. So in that context, 100% correct, yes.
We've been together for so long. Do I have to answer that question?
Wait, y'all still notice she didn't answer. Are you racist?
This is funny to me. No, I'm not a racist.
Now, see, usually people deny shit when they actually are, so they say no. So, all right.
Usually people that are racist call other people racist. How about that?
That's facts. Okay, so
zip your lip.
Let's get to 4 niggas.
All right, so whatever black guys you ever dated or went on a date with, get your number to, were you trying to prove you weren't racist? Is that the reason why you gave me your number? Or were you actually attracted to me?
No, I would not compromise my personal values just to prove something to somebody else. Whether it's my dad or public.
So how do you prove that you're not racist?
I don't need to prove that.
So you're not dating black guys to prove that you're not racist?
Absolutely not. No.
Okay, let me think if I have any.
Get to number 4, nigga, man. Come on, dog.
I don't know if I should say this. No, I shouldn't say it. Alright, we'll move on to number 4. Alright. Alright, so again, for those of you who came in the middle of the episode, we're talking about myths. This is from some article that I found online, somebody's blog post. Myths about white girls who date black guys, and we're addressing it because
I should have went on and got the fucking myth. That's what I should have did.
On this channel, we talk about the shit that everybody wants to talk about, but people be afraid to talk about. That's what we do here on this channel. Things that are related to males and females. Somewhere that the female perspective can be different than just having me as the talking head talking on this channel. Number 4. we may come back to that last one, though, that they're trying to prove that they're not racist.
We're number 4, nigga, man.
Actually, let's talk about it. Fuck that. Let's talk about it.
Fuck.
Let's think of someone like Tommy Lauren. Or Tommy Lauren on TV. No, actually, no, we shouldn't talk about that. I gotta consider politics as something.
Go number 4, nigga. Thank you.
All white girls who date black guys think they're better than black girls.
Mm.
You think you're better than black women, and that's why you go take their men from them.
Oh my
Okay.
God, that is
Here's what I will say to this. And there's truth behind this. But it's not what people may think. The reason why white girls, because there is truth behind this. The reason why that's a myth or why people believe that is because you have the brothers who tell the white girls, how many times have you gone on YouTube and you'll see the brothers talk about, oh, you know, the white girls are better than the black girls, the white girls are better than the black girls in this, they don't argue this, that, and the third. So obviously they're going to think that they're better because not only do you put them over your women, you're consistently validating that they're better than your women on a consistent basis. And keep in mind, you'll see a lot of brothers say, man, I left Keisha because, you know, she was talking all that bullshit. She tried to bring a nigga down every single day. And then you'll literally find videos of white girls saying, you fucking nigger, you dumb nigger, bitch, you fucking nigger this, you fucking nigger that. But Amanda, can we just sit down and talk? Like, what you mean can we sit down and talk? You just sat here and said that you broke up with Keisha because she always argued with you, and you can literally find videos of these dudes, whether it's with white girls, Asian girls, or Latinas, and those girls are going ape shit at them, and they're calm, cool, collect, and they want to talk it out. Why couldn't you talk it out with your sister? But you want to talk it out with the girl that just called you a straight up nigger and a fucking, you know, a buck? So this is why a lot of those white girls believe that they are better than the black girl, because you keep telling them on a consistent basis that they are better than your women. Keep in mind that, you know, whoever you date is a reflection of yourself. So if you're going to sit here and say that they're better than your women, then by that definition, their men are better than you. This is why I never understood when people would say stuff like that. Because I remember I've been on dates when I remember one of the girls I went on, her name was Hannah. And I remember she asked me, so you like white girls, huh? And I was like, yeah, I like you, you know what I'm saying? But not for what you think. And she was like, what you mean? I said, I like you because we actually get along. You just so happen to be of another race. You got a fat ass and you're cute. But I would never say that you're better than my women. She was like, really? I was like, yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Why would I say that you're better than mine? That means that's also me saying that the white man's better than me. Because the white girl does not exist with the Caucasian man, and the black girl does not exist with the black man. So you cannot sit here and pretty much put one gender of that race above your own while not putting the opposite gender of their race over yourself. It doesn't make any sense. And I remember when I was out with Hannah, there was this Hispanic boy. And I remember he was shaking my hand when I just met him. He was like, oh, you know, and he started talking about his girl. Now, Hannah told me that all he dates is white girls. And he was looking at me like, shit, man, you know how we are with the white girls. And I'm like, nah, nigga, I don't know how we are with the white girls. I don't know. But because they're so used to seeing that, particularly from dark-skinned brothers, that they automatically feel the need to just say that. And I'm just like, nah, I don't roll like that. And it's like I get looked at like a motherfucking unicorn because they're like, really? Like, you don't? I'm like, no. Like, that shit don't make no fucking sense. Why the hell would I do that? So that is not a myth. That is 100% fact, because a lot of the white girls do believe that they are better than the sisters because the brothers put them above the sisters. So that's not a myth. That is truth.
so ridiculous.
Why is it?
It's ridiculous to me.
All right, let me get my
No,
context.
so,
Go ahead.
the whole statement, like, I'm better than black girls, what does that even mean? Like,
Because you're taking their men, like, you took an eligible black man out of the talent pool. Like, by dating me, you have taken an eligible black man out of the talent pool for black women to choose from.
No, that's not how I look at it. And if there are women out there thinking that way,
There are women out there thinking
please
that.
stop dating, period. You don't need to be with another person, period.
Well, how they gonna have kids and sex?
You don't need to. If that's how you think, you shouldn't procreate or be with another person. You need to go deal with your own issues.
You need to go to Tony Robbins conference.
No, you need to go to a psychotherapy.
Go to number 5.
That's ridiculous.
Well,
I should just fucking look up this shit my damn self. But I want to hear them talk, that's why.
Yes, that this is true, but there are black women out there who, when they see a eligible black guy means like he's fairly attractive. He looks like he's a candidate. Like
Yes.
he's someone that she could be interested in if she learned about him, and she sees that he's dating a white chick. I get the. It don't happen that much in a place like Miami, but let's say I can't even think. But years past, I wouldn't even say at the time that we've known each other, but before it became more normalized, like
Yes.
eye rolls, girls giving you the side eye, or especially if it's a group of black chicks together. And this is not to generalize all black women. This is just some isolated experiences I've had. Because the last thing I want is some black women mad at me, because I'm saying this. So I'm not saying that black women. I love black women. My mom's black. My sister's black.
Okay.
My grandma's black.
Is your mom black?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, I'm not witnessed. So I have seen this in isolated incidents. I want to make sure I'm emphasizing that phrase before somebody comes in the comments talking stupid.
You know, I wasn't even going to speak about it, but something told me to speak about it. What I tend to notice is that when he's speaking about how you have the sisters who will see a quote unquote eligible black guy and they get mad when they with the Caucasian girl. To be honest, I've noticed this happens in multiple races as well, but it usually tends to be the unattractive people of the group. Let me understand what I'm saying. There's a girl named Iskra Lawrence, and she's dating this black guy. They're married. And I remember I saw in one of her posts, it was all these white guys that was like, oh my gosh, how dare you date that black guy, this, that, and the third. And one thing that stuck out to me is that none of those white guys look like Brad Pitt. They didn't look like I almost said Michael B. Jordan. They didn't look like some attractive guys. They didn't look like oh my goodness, are you fucking serious? I'm gonna say like Justin Bieber, because a lot of white girls do find him attractive. He's one of the attractive guys. They don't look like a Matthew McConaughey. They don't look like a fucking I did say Brad Pitt, right? Or like a what's his name again? Oh my gosh, now I'm forgetting all these white guys. Pretty much, they don't look like a Chad. Okay, they don't look like a Chad. It's usually like the really unattractive white dudes, because a lot of times people want to see people date within their culture. One, because they want to preserve it 100%. I'm all for that. But that group, they tend to want to date the person vicariously through that person. So that's why I remember when the whole thing with Michael B. Jordan came about, and they were like, oh, he only dates this type of girl, this, that, and the third. Keep in mind, those same girls will also sit here and validate Serena Williams. Now, what I will say about those guys, particularly the black guys who talk about when they were like, they didn't get no money or whatever, the black girls weren't really checking for them. What I tend to notice is that those black girls that they're talking about are the hood black girls. And I was very interested, because I'm just thinking to myself, if you are a geeky, clean-cut black guy, right? Why are you trying to get the attention of the hood black girl? Wouldn't you want to get the attention of the geeky, clean-cut black woman, the sister? You feel me? So there's truth behind what he's saying, but there's more things that go into, because those black girls who tend to say that, oh, look at the Michael B. Jordan dating that white girl. They don't look like Beyonce. They don't look like Kelly Rowland. They don't look like Miss Gemini. They don't look like Miracle Watt. They don't look like fucking Ola Hermosa, Black Boma. They don't look like none of those girls, because attractive women or attractive men, they don't really give a fuck about the interrelationship, because they're always gonna get theirs. You got people like Channing Tatum and Matthew McConaughey. They can get like 10 Iskra Lawrence. Girls who look like Kelly Rowland can get like 30 Michael B. Jordans. They're not really worried about that. It's mostly the unattractive ones. And when they see that person within their group rise to a status, naturally they're gonna want to see them with one of their own. And I do agree with that, because from that standpoint, you want to have the wealth stay within the community. I get that, and I'm all for it. But it's like a lot of times you can't sit there and say that you want Michael B. Jordan to be with the Lupita Nyong'o, but then you celebrate when you see Serena Williams with the Krusty Krab looking type of white dude. Like, you can't have it both ways. If you're gonna say that we have to keep the money in the community, it needs to go both ways, and I agree with that. But a lot of times, like I said before, if you tend to look at the people who come out and say those type of things about, you took the eligible black guy, or you took the eligible white girl, you took the eligible Latino, they are not really attractive. Like, really pay attention to the people who say those type of things. They aren't really attractive. But what he says carries some credence. But of course, there's more that goes into it. Hopefully I explained that a little bit better. If I didn't, just leave it in the comment section so I can further elaborate.
Black women, in my experience, the ones I've come across, usually only date black men. So they are limited to black men only. But a white girl who will date black guys could date white men and black men. So they got a much larger pool of talent to choose from.
No. I really don't. I don't know. It's not. I mean, he did say his experience. So he did say his experience. He didn't generalize it. But overall, if you're an attractive person, whether you're an attractive white girl, you're an attractive black girl, you can get your pick of the litter of anybody. It's not about, because I'm a white girl, I got more access, or because I'm a Latina. No, if you're attractive, you have access to pretty much anything. You have access to it all. So it's just based upon attractiveness. You know what I'm saying? But remember, like I told you before, the people who are attractive, they're not really going to be talking about, you took the best of our community. They don't really give a shit because they can get theirs left and right. They're always going to get theirs. So his statement is not true because this is an attractive person thing. If you're an attractive white man, if you're an attractive brother, if you're an attractive Latino, you can get your pick of the litter of any woman. Any woman. Now, I'm not saying that y'all gonna get married, but like fucking wise, oh hell yeah, like you can get your pick of the litter. So it's not just about you being a Caucasian woman that you just get the access. No, because you got Caucasian girls who are ugly as fuck and they can't get even the white dudes that they want. So let's keep it a buck. But he did say that his experience. So I will let it slide with that. But overall, that's not the case.
Women only have this pool, and then here come you, the snow princess, stealing talent out of her talent pool. So that's why a black woman, not all black women, again, not all, but I can see why a black woman could be kind of like feeling some type of way about that. So some type of way about that because like, this is all I got to choose from. Like, take it from mine, you can be taken from yours. When y'all like 80% of the population, we only 14%, but you're gonna take some comp out of my talent pool instead of dipping in your own. What is that about? That's what she wanna know. What's up with these white bitches?
Yeah, I've experienced it on myself, actually. That has happened to me. I've got eye rolls. So I was in New York City, and this was before me and you, and I was walking.
I want you guys to have to understand something. A lot of times, the eye rolls and the negative stereotypes and the taboo, it's not really the fact that you're with a black guy that has money or you're with an attractive white girl. The real thing that why a lot of people do that is because of the history between you guys. Like when you really think about it, the history of the black man and the white girl, as stated in America, or pretty much as when you just going to school, like it's pretty much based on false rape. Like, you have to understand, like, when people read these stories about, the Caucasian girl pretty much accused you of raping her, and when she catch you fucking her, when her dad caught her fucking you, she said that you raped her and you got your dick cut off, or Jim Crow, if you look at a white girl, you got beat up. They look at all of those things, and then when you add on to the fact that you as a black guy are going on camera talking about the white girls are better than the black girls, and you as that white girl, even though it's not you, but the white girls who they tend to see date outside their race tend to say that, the black guy is better than the Caucasian. They give you those looks like you must not like yourself, because when they see those people, even though that may not be you, you have to understand why they come up and they give you guys those looks, because very rarely are you going to see in general between interracial couples, but particularly with these two. Because remember what I told you, even though the Asian woman and the Caucasian man make up most of the interracial marriage, they're the most interracial married couples, it is also the black man and the white woman that have the highest divorce rate. So when you add all those things in, that's why you're getting those side eyes. Because they understand in most cases that black guy is with that white girl because he sees her as a trophy. And that white girl is with that black guy because she sees him as a fetish. That's why they get those looks. It's very rare that you're going to find two people from opposite races that genuinely like each other without disrespecting one's race, particularly between the black guy and the white girl. It is very, very, very rare. That is why you guys are getting those side looks. That's why.
Together with a guy who was black, and we were just walking, and he went inside the store, and I waited outside, and some girls passed by in Brooklyn. And I thought that my life was threatened there for like a mini second there, because of the looks that they gave me. They just gave me looks, and at the time, I didn't speak a very good English, so I didn't understand what they were saying. Something underneath.
I gotta find something to hold this shit, man. I'm kind of getting tired holding this.
So yeah, and I had strong signs that they were talking about me. I don't know what they said, but the looks were so, they were glaring at me, and it was just obvious to me that they were not happy. And they
Excuse me for not having a haircut, man. I'm gonna get one this Friday. I know I look filthy as a motherfucker. Can I get to number 5?
Yeah, absolutely. They were. And I remember that, and it didn't feel good. And to me, I felt like, what's your problem? You know, like, yeah, and I think that's like such a small-minded thing. A small-minded person does that because it's not about that. It's really not about.
So what would you say? So what would you say? Let's say there's a black girl watching this and she's like in love with me through YouTube, and she's mad because I'm taken because I'm dating you. How would you counsel this woman? Because she's like, damn, that's another eligible black guy who's unavailable because they're white girls.
You're looking at your limitations and what you cannot achieve, who you cannot get, rather than saying like, okay, am I the type of person who the person that I like will be attracted to? Like, why don't you work on your own goddamn self rather than looking at other couples and saying, oh yeah, your girl is taking you away from my pool. Like, that's not even it. Yeah, work on your mind and work on everything. Work on you rather than looking at other people and saying that.
Sometimes I'm letting them talk because we want to talk about the myth, but sometimes they're saying stuff that catches my eye. I'm like, wait, let me comment on this to give a better explanation on that. But yeah, the nigga talking a little too long. Like, get to number 5, bro.
They're stealing something from you. It's the same shit that happens. It happens in every environment. It happens in business environment, in other environments where like you're looking at what you don't have and why you don't have it.
Let me see if I can fast forward this shit.
For yourself to be stuck where you are. So does that mean that if you like this guy and he's coupled up with a white girl, does that mean that you cannot get another black girl, black guy?
Well, what I heard Steph Curry say, because people always ask Steph Curry, because for those who don't know, Steph Curry used to have a contract that was below market value. He was getting paid less than he could actually be making. And when people would ask him about it, he said, my father always told me never look at another person's plate. Don't look at what's on somebody else's plate, worry about what's on your plate.
Exactly.
And that's basically what you're saying.
Yeah.
To not think in a scarcity terms of, damn, like that's the only black guy more important. Instead of looking at what somebody else has.
All right, I think I'm about to fast forward this real quick to go to number 5. I'm gonna give him another 20 seconds.
Exactly. And also, like, stop judging people because you don't know that couple. You don't know why they're together. You have no idea what kind of experience maybe that guy or that girl had why they're together.
14,
you're judging them
13,
from everything
12,
that you don't know about
11,
them. It's just not fair.
10,
you don't know their life. You don't know who they are, why they're together.
8,
You don't even know
7,
if you're really gonna
6,
like that guy. Maybe he's not even
5,
the guy for you.
4,
Yeah, maybe he's a jerk.
3,
If you were together
2,
with him, you would be so
1.
miserable. So, but now here you are making up this whole big freaking.
Now, alright, so you don't feel like you're better than black chicks?
If you know what, any chick that thinks that way, I think I'm better than her in terms of how I think because I don't think that way.
All right, can we go to number 5?
Black, white, red doesn't matter.
Make sure y'all don't take that out of context.
All right, number 5, brother.
All right.
Number 5.
So we're about halfway. Number 5, and again, we're talking about myths.
All right, let's see.
If these are actual myths. Is it and just a myth? This is a fantasy. To see if the myth about black guy's penis is actually true, or like me, or is it just?
So the 5th question they talked about is that pretty much are the white girls with the black guys because of the big dick myth or the big dick fetish. I want to have you guys understand something very clearly. This goes for all men. Keep in mind, the average vagina when aroused is 4 inches. Okay, the average male penis when erected is 6 inches. So you really do not need an 8+ inch cock to arouse a 4-inch vagina when most girls are going to climax by clit stimulation or good stroke. Okay, so this whole big dick thing has been taken way out of pocket, because you really do have a lot of brothers that actually believe that that girl is like, she likes him because of his big dick. She may want to fuck you because you have a big dick and you know how to move your dick correctly, but for her to actually like you, your dick has nothing to do with that. Your dick has nothing to truly do with the girl genuinely staying with you. When a girl genuinely likes you, your dick could be a 3-inch dick. She gonna slurp that shit like it's no tomorrow. Like I told you before, it's only 4 inches when aroused. It's only 4 inches. Now, the myth behind this is also play on the fact that a lot of black guys play on this by talking about that, you know, we got big dicks and this, that, and the third, and blah, 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 blah. And yeah, when the girls first get it, it feels good. Don't get twisted, but it's like, your dick is never going to pretty much compare to her men being in control. Okay? But does it play a role in why white women fetishize black men? 100%. It plays a role, but it's not the main reason why the girl is gonna stay. So I want you guys to understand what I was saying, that yes, it is one of the reasons why a lot of those Caucasian females fetishize over the black guy, because they also are the ones that put it out there themselves. But it's not the reason why they're going to stay with you, like they actually like you. A woman does not just like a guy because of his penis. Remember, women are emotional creatures by nature. So if there's no emotional attachment to you, you can have the biggest dick in the world, she's going to leave, okay? Your dick size does not equate to her staying with you. If there's no emotional investment she has with you, she's gonna leave. You having the dick is great, but it's not the thing that's going to keep her, that's gonna make her actually like you, that want to be with you, that wants to go through hardship with you, you know, grind with you, and see both of you guys flourish. So the myth is true that a lot of girls do go for that jungle fever type of shit. Because I remember, I think it was in Insecure, when the dude, and he used to be in the game, he used to play the tall dude, I forgot his name, Blue. And he pretty much went to the market, and these 2 white girls paid for his stuff. And then he went, you know, I'm about to go have a threesome with these 2 white girls. And when he busted really quick, they were like, what the fuck is going on? And he was like, oh, well, you know, give me a second. She was like, then the other white girl's like, remember Jerome? Oh my gosh, he was amazing. And this is true. Like, a lot of them do see it just for that. And a lot of brothers, they fail to realize that there's truth behind that. But you have men that think that them having a big dick is going to keep the girl. So that's why I put it in there. The myth that they do go after you for your penis, that carries truth. However, you having a big dick is not going to have the girl stay. It's not the only thing that's going to have her stay. Hopefully that made sense.
Myth about penis, isn't it?
Yeah, don't act like you don't know this.
No, is it like that, or is it about something else about a black
Is it just the fetish? Kind of like, what's this chick's name on Sex and the City? What's her name?
Samantha.
Samantha. So some women just have a fetish, like, yo, I just want to see, you know, what it's like to be with a black guy. It's kind of like walking on a tightrope. It's like doing some dangerous thing one time. Just to see
I
what it's like.
understand.
So is that what it is?
Like
for
a
you?
thrill of it.
Yeah, am I just a flaming tree? Am I just a piece of meat?
Aww.
So what is it is, of course.
Let's think like,
Okay, so I need
let's never lose the side. You can never lose the thing side in a relationship.
And the reason why this fetish carries a lot of credence is because of the fact that whenever you do hear white women say why they like to date black guys, that is one of the main things they talk about. Big dick, you dress good, you smell good, you got big muscles. And one of the stereotypes that black guys love to talk about when they date white girls is that they do what? They suck dick good, that they have good credit, that they don't argue. So these myths are not really myth, because you have the people who are interracially dating going on camera and saying this. That's what a lot of people don't really understand. They're the ones going out there and saying, oh, it's just a small portion. Well, that small portion kind of speaks up for a lot of you. And remember what I said, the divorce rate, the black man and the white woman, they have the highest divorce rate amongst interracial couples. That thing does not help you guys when that statistic is out there. It really doesn't, bro.
No, you're not just a flame. I actually like you.
Okay.
I already have proven it.
Alright, so it's not just a fetish.
No.
All right, go to number 6.
I'm sure there's some women who do. It's like, it's been such, they've been brought up in such a different world, and they've never even considered it. And once they stepped out of that world, I'm sure they consider it as a thrill. I'm sure there are women like that. It's just not me.
Women like what?
Who grew up in a different environment.
What's a different environment?
They've never had a chance, or they were brought up not to date black guys, and when they have an opportunity to do so, they do, and they're curious about it, so they go ahead and do it.
So you think there's some women who are just curious about black guys, and so they do it just to see?
Yeah.
You were never
Yes,
curious
there's
about
curiosity
To me,
for a lot of
it was
people.
about the race. To me, it was all about.
black guys. So you don't see color.
No, I
So you like Tommy
no, I don't see color.
That's really dumb that you don't see color. How do you get dressed in the morning? Come on, man. Like, you gotta see color. Like, seeing color is what makes us different. When people say they don't see color, then that's actually sometimes I think that's kind of like a disrespect. Like, I don't see who you are. They'll be like, no, I just see the inner spirit. What inner spirit, bitch? Like, you want me to take off my clothes so you can see my chest or some shit? What are you talking about? Like, no. Like, you have to see color. There is color. We are different, whether you want to accept it or not. But when you use those statements like I don't see color, that's not really a good way to go about it. You can be like, you know what? I mean, I know that there are these things that exist about the interracial dating. I just happen to be not one of those people. I'm with this person because I genuinely like them. Is he a black man? Is she a white woman? Is he a Latina? Is she an Asian? Yeah, obviously I can see that. But what drove me to them to be with them is that we bond well. We have a very good connection, and we just really like to be around each other. Yeah, we're of a different race, but we genuinely like to be around each other. You rarely hear that. And even if they were to say that, they'll follow up with, well, this person is bad and this race person is bad, this, that, and the third. It's like you just destroyed your entire argument, but you didn't, because you just let it be known what you truly are, because you told on yourself.
I see color, but I don't.
So how you drive
I
a car?
don't focus on color. I see color. Of course, I see color.
Okay, then you.
But
All right, number 6.
yeah, I don't focus on color.
All right, number 6. And we're talking myths. White girls who date black girls. Number 6 is a white girl who dates black guys is trying to rebel against society. She's like standing out and lose the attention that she gets. Does that apply to you?
Rebel against
no,
society.
It does not apply to me.
The white girls are trying to rebel against society. I wouldn't say they're rebelling against society, but there's a but. When I was with this girl named Violet, I brought her up about the whole the racial thing. When I was with her for that month, she always kept talking about how she couldn't stand white guys, that white guys are lame, this, that, and the third. And what I came to the conclusion of with that scenario was the fact that she only really dated white guys before. And what Violet never realized is that she was deep down a closet racist. One of the times we was hanging out, and this was pretty much when I was like, I gotta cut this shit off. When we were hanging out, she was rubbing my nose, and she was like, I'm so happy you don't have an African big nose. Now, what she doesn't really realize is that this girl was always a racist. She was always a closet racist. But when that white guy betrayed her, you understand what I'm saying? In her mind, she's like, why would you do this to me? Like, we're family. We're Ku Klux Klan on the rise. Like, hi, Hitler. Like, how could you betray me like this? So now because she did that, now I'm going to go have sex with the man that you claim that you pretty much don't like. So in a way, I'm going to rebel against you and go and just deal with only black men. I don't want to deal with white men. So will I say that they're trying to rebel against society? No. But in most of those unions, there are scenarios that are just that. Remember what I told you about the fact that you got a lot of the people who date outside their race that they specifically say they only date outside their race and they don't date within their own. There's something traumatic that happened. So in a way, they are rebelling, not against the world, but they're rebelling against whether it be their father, whether it be the whatever man or person or individual of this said group that pissed them off, they're rebelling against them. So the trauma is linked up with that gender of that race that they belong to. So in a way, they technically are rebelling because they're upset that they were hurt.
However,
And instead of them acknowledging that, so sometimes people can't really cope with that, especially for something really traumatic. Like, especially if it was someone that you cared about, like someone you love, like your dad or your brother or, your boyfriend, people who are supposed to protect you, and they betray you, you're going to put in your mind like, well, if this is supposed to be someone who's supposed to care about me and they do this, what would the other guys do? And you tend to hear these same stories with like a lot of the sisters who say they only date white guys, and then you end up finding out like, there was a black guy, whether it was their father or their uncle or their brother who hurt them. And again, because those people are so close to you, you're like, well, if someone as close to me is going to do this to me, they're gonna be like, man, fuck it, that must be all of them. Because if the people who are close to me are gonna hurt me, what is the average other Joe of my community gonna do to me? Even though you shouldn't do that, you should probably seek some help. But in the way that their mindset deals with that pain, that's how they're able to cope with it, is this, they put a face on that. So for those white girls, the face is the Caucasian man. I don't want to deal with him anymore because he hurt me. I'm just gonna go fuck black guys. You know what I'm saying? So in a way, they are rebelling, but it depends on the context and how they're explaining it. The way they just explain is that the girl just dates just dates because she's rebelling against him. No, most of them date because of the fact that they were hurt, that the person within their race, the opposite gender that they cared about, betrayed them. So now they're going to rebel against that individual. That's pretty much what you want to go with the rebelling. But again, it's all about the context. Hopefully, I know I already said that, but hopefully I explained it. If I didn't, just go in the comments and just say, Stanley, can you elaborate a little bit more? You feel me? I'm still getting used to this shit.
People like that too.
I know some white girls who, we even would have a conversation about something like that. They would say, I've never dated a black guy before, or I've never been with a black guy, or nobody from where I'm from dates black guys. And then they would say what I feel like they want to say to somebody else, but they be telling me, like, I can date whoever I want. If I want to mess with a black guy, I'll mess with a black guy. I don't care what anybody thinks.
Right.
They would be saying it to me, but as somebody saying something to you, but they're not really talking to you.
Yeah.
They really telling you what they wish they could say to somebody else.
Right.
Maybe society or whoever, But so
I agree with that.
Is that what you're saying?
Number 7.
Well, no, it doesn't apply to me. But the way I always thought is kind of sort of like you described, but I didn't have to voice it. Like, I just live my life and I do what I feel is good for me and good for greater good, not just myself. So to me, I don't see color in that way. I don't define people as, oh, he's black or he's white and it's good to date him or it's good not to date him according to the color they give. So.
Okay, so you're not rebelling against society. You like what you like they said, race.
She's not rebelling against society, but she's rebelling against her father. Remember, I told you this girl grew up in a family where her father wasn't there, and when she was in the her community in Georgia, the Caucasian men around her weren't good. So she's not rebelling against society, but she's definitely rebelling against those people. I gotta find out what video it was. Hold on, I can actually go look it up now that I have the phone. View all. So there's 2 videos. I believe so. I think it's Daddy Issues: Why White Girls Really Date Black Guys. This is on the Dre Baldwin. That's his on YouTube, Dre Baldwin. And then there's the Why White Girls Like Black Men Better, Anna and Dre Show, Dre Baldwin. So those are the 2 videos that when you watch it, she will tell you about what happened with her father, and she will tell you what happened with the men in the community. So she's not rebelling against society, but she is rebelling against those men, because do not get it twisted. That shit plays a very role, because as a man, your first love in your life is your mother, and as a woman, your first love is your father. Those things play a very crucial role in who you end up with. Very crucial. And again, when you look at most interracial couples, one of them or both of them are dealing with some traumatic issue that the opposite gender of their said race that they cared about, or probably was a random situation, did to them, and they can't cope with it. So they just put that image to represent the trauma, and they pretty much remove themselves from that. So anything that reminds them of that trauma, anything that reminds them. So if you are a white girl and you go with a fucked up dad, any white guy that reminds you or has the same complexion, or look, fuck white men, fuck them. And then I believe it's in the video where she says, why white girls like black men better. That's the video where she talks about white guys having a beer belly, and most of them, they're very bland, and they just want to watch football. Remember what I told you, they always seem to degrade their own race of people. They can never just leave that out. They always must drag their people. Always. Which is interesting, because in this video she pretty much states that the white guy is a status for those Caucasian girls, but then later on in these videos she's talking about how she doesn't really want to be around them, which is, I don't know, maybe she said it because after the whole situation, she was like, yo, look, you dating me, you gotta kind of like slow down with that. Who knows? But my whole point is that when you watch those 2 videos, she will tell you what happened with her father to a degree, and the men in the community, and you will get an idea on why she strictly stays away from Caucasian men. Because she said that. She said that in the videos. She said that she don't really give, like, I think in the, yeah, it was the why the white girls like black guys, black men better. He asked her, if you had the white guy and the black guy that came from the hood, they both came from the same scenarios and they both had the same swag, who would you go for? She said, I'm going to go for the black guy. She said that. And it's only just 25 minutes long. Ugh. We'll watch. If I have enough time, I'll make a follow-up for it. But let's go back to this one. Number 7.
Because if you rebel against society, then you have to suppress what you like. Is it at the expense of what you like? Or if when you rebel against society and it goes along with what you like, then you know you're still being true to yourself. But stay true to yourself, do what you actually like to do. And that's my case. Like, if I'm dating a black guy and that means that I'm rebelling against society,
Yeah.
but I actually,
But you actually like that.
yeah, but I'm actually in tune with myself. I do what's true to me.
So you're not doing it to rebel against society.
No.
That's the question.
No, I'm not doing it to rebel.
You're not doing it to stand out and get attention.
No,
So
absolutely
you're not
not.
dating me just for the attention.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 7. Almost home. The myths of almost home literally.
But actually, can I say something else? So, but there are also people who they might like black guys, but they will not date them because if they rebel against society, you know, there will be less opportunities for them. You know, there will be society. They're afraid to be looked at a certain way, so they think some things are going to be shut down to them. You know, they might have a certain reputation, and they might think their reputation is going to be altered in some way.
Staying.
Yeah, staying and
Well, what she said carries some weight with the stain aspect, because remember what I told you before. Whenever you hear black guys talk about why they like white girls, they pretty much talk about it in a dehumanization way. So from their standpoint, when they see that, of course they're going to think that, you know, if you're dealing with this person, you must not think any highly of yourself, because this person is saying that, even though he may not be saying it himself. But we are judged based upon our race. Like, that's how we are. Like, you know, when people see a 6 foot black guy, they automatically think that he can play basketball. You know what I'm saying? That's a good stereotype, because again, most people who are playing basketball are black and they're 6 foot and over. So there are these we're usually judged based upon that. So this is why it's always good to put the proper images of your people out there, because because a lot of times you're not going to come across certain races. So pretty much what's in the media that's portrayed of them is what you're going to pretty much gain your knowledge about. This is why it's so important for people of color, for the brothers and sisters, to promote their own self in the image, because it's not the Caucasian man's job to promote you. It's not the Asian man's job. It's your job to promote yourself. So what she's saying does carry credence and validity, because at the end of the day, most people care about what people think. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not dealing with that person because, oh, you know, you just don't want to deal with them. Most of the time, you're not dealing with them because, you know, if you do deal with them, you're going to get ostracized. You feel what I'm saying? So especially when, you know, if you're a Caucasian woman and this white guy has power, you know what I'm saying? That black guy doesn't have no power. So naturally, you're going to be like, you know, I can't really fuck with you, because, I mean, if I fuck with you, you know, I just want to fuck. I'm not even trying to even be in a relationship. I just want to fuck. But I do that, and now I end up losing all these opportunities. It's really not worth it, especially when you have no power yourself. You understand what I'm saying? So those things do play a role in that. So what she said, you know, there carries some truth behind that. I'll give it that.
I think that's a bigger problem. I think a lot of people fall into that category.
It's not really a problem. It's just the fact that, I mean, that's just how it is with power. Like, if you don't have no power, you know, that tends to happen. Like, most people, like, if you ever been in the hood, you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of the drug dealers and the pimps, they do what they do because they have the power. People respect them because they have the power. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you're not gonna want to trifle with that dude, because you know he has power that could fuck you up. So you're gonna, you know, back away. So in a similar way, as a Caucasian female, you know, if I understand that, okay, if I'm gonna deal with this guy, you know, especially if I just want to fuck, if I can't benefit anything afterwards from it, like, why would I get involved in that? You know what I'm saying? Like, he has the power, so I want to make sure that I still stay on good terms, because I want the power. And at the end of the day, women naturally are going to follow whatever race of man is in power. Like, that's just, you know, their natural nature is to follow whoever's in control.
And one way I rebel, if I do, is I never wanted to be that person. So I never wanted the color to stop me
Wait, so you're saying you rebel by not rebelling?
I rebel by not being that person who conforms to the society and says, oh, I actually want to date a black guy, but I can't because I'm going to be looked at a certain way. My reputation is going to be stained.
So how is that rebel?
So,
Look, it's not. Semantics.
I'm not rebelling.
Who's in number 7?
A lot of people fall into that category, and I don't want to be that person.
All right, number 7. All white girls who date black guys have had bad experiences with white men, so you decided to never mess with white men. True or false?
Oh, black girls?
No, a white girl who dates black guys had some bad experience with black guys, so with white guys. So she just went over to the black side and decided to never come back. Is that what happened to you?
No.
Did you have a bad experience with a white guy and then just said, fuck that, on the dark meat?
Remember what I said earlier? These are not really myths. They're really not myth. If you look at this girl's background, she may not have had a bad experience with white men, but she had a bad experience, like dating wise, but she had a bad experience with the most important man, her father. See, a lot of people, they think that these things don't play a role. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. I knew one girl, she's biracial, and she said she only fucks with white guys. Only white guys. Keep in mind, the white guys that she fucked with gave her herpes. The white guys beat her up. They cheat on her. Now me, I'm like, yo, you don't have to fuck with niggas. We good. We ain't trying to catch none of that. But I said to myself, let me find out why. Like, why do you only fuck with white dudes? You being biracial, your dad is black and your mother is Caucasian. And pretty much she was telling me how, she was telling me stories like, she's like, when she was younger, her father was pretty much, he was in the house, but he wasn't really in the house. I think she said that, I have screenshots of it. I don't want to say it, but I'm not 100% certain about that topic, but she did say that he really didn't really pay attention to them. And she said that when she was younger, she really got introduced to porn because of him. She caught him, she saw him like watching porn, and she began to like masturbate and all that extra stuff. But the whole point is that even though those white guys that she dealt with, they're the ones that hurt her, in her mind, she would have never went down that path if it wasn't for her black father fucking her childhood up. So it is true that a lot of times people in general who interracially date, who say I only date, here's what I'm saying, like they say they only date. I'm not saying people who, like you're a white guy and you just happen to be a Latina, y'all get along and you're like, okay, I want to date her and just see how it goes. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like I only strictly date this and I only strictly date this person outside my race. When they tend to say that there's something traumatic that happened with the opposite gender of their said race. Okay, whether it's a boyfriend or it's someone really close to them, because there are white girls out there who are pretty much getting raped and beat up by white guys left and right, and they still fuck with white men. But the point that I'm pointing out is the context that the white girls or people who interracially date that only date outside their race. They don't deal with their own. They strictly say, I only date black girls, I only date black men, I only date Latinas, and they're not of that cloth. Then this carries truth behind it.
No, that is so silly. No.
Well, that's what the myth says. Now that one, I don't know too many white girls fall into that category, but however, I'll tell you what I do. I know some white girls who dated, they played the whole field. Like they opened themselves up to the entire field. White guys, black guys, and everything. Dated black guys. Had one too many black guys do them dirty or do them wrong in some way, and then they stop dating black guys and then they end up marrying white.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I would need more than 2 hands to count how many white girls I've seen that happen to. Was dating a black guy.
And this is true because at the end of the day, it's like, let's say you have a brother and if you have a sister, right? And you call your sister Big Nose. You call your sister Big Nose, Big Nose, Big Nose, Big Nose, Big Nose. That's amongst you guys. You guys can get away with that. But if I were to come and say, oh, your sister's Big Nose, you're going to be like, okay, that's one time, that's it, done, fuck off. At the end of the day, people are going to tolerate certain things from their own community that they will not tolerate from others. So from their own community, like if you're a black guy, you're like, well, wait a minute, you had all these white guys beat you up and you still stayed with them. Yeah, because they're in the same group. They're not going to tolerate that shit from you. and vice versa if it's a different race. So certain times we're gonna tolerate stuff within our culture and in our family because that's our people. But if it's someone that's outside of the group, oh no, especially if we had a bad experience, it's done, it's finished, it's over, it's finished and done with.
The black guy did something he wasn't supposed to do, and she was like, all right, I've been burned too many times by black guys.
But keep in mind, a lot of times the people that you deal with, they give you an idea of who they are. And a lot of times people tend to ignore the signs because they're just so infatuated with that person. So they tend to just ignore the signs, and then when it blows up in their face, now they want to blame all men, they want to blame all women. No, because you're going through the same issues even when you go back to your own race. That's a you problem, because you could stop dating the black guy, or you could stop dating the black girl, you could stop dating the white girl, the Asian girl, but yet you go back to your own race and you're still dealing with those issues because it wasn't really a race thing. It's just the fact that your spirit kept aligning itself with the wrong archetype of person and you refuse to get away from it. So that's like pretty much like a spiritual energy connection that you have with that with that archetype of person.
Sometimes it be too many for someone, and then they end up marrying. You see them on Facebook. They married to some white guy who looks like he came out the Abercrombie advertisement. Abercrombie.
Yeah, super white.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I have seen that. That does not apply to all white girls. Again, nothing I'm saying applies to all. This is what I'm saying in my experience. You got anything to add to that?
No, I haven't met too many, but I haven't seen the experiences fold out in front of me, but I've had girls tell me that kind of stuff. So, I think it exists.
Okay, number 8. White girls who date black guys think they are too good for white guys. This is why they go to black guys. They think you're too good for white guys.
I mean, it kind of sounds like some of these questions are kind of like repetitive because they date. Remember when one of the questions was like, they date so they can pretty much rebel, or they date because they feel like they're better than the black girl. So it's kind of sound like these things are pretty much. What the hell was that? What the? Oh, all right, some bullshit. But anyways, I'm actually losing my train of thought because I heard some fucking weird ass noise. I don't know where the hell that came from. But anyways, my point in what they were saying about that, they think that they're too good for the white guys. That is not really the case. Like, remember again, like, I feel like I'm just repeating myself over and over again because all these things play a role. It's not that she feels like she is